He's like, ball check. Oh! Welcome back to Basecamp. What are we doing? I'm gonna throw up.
Long since man has existed on this mortal plane, we have been terrified of the night. Vision allows you to do really cool things like stare at screens all day. However, once day turns into night, things start to change a little bit. It just seems that the good Lord himself decided that once the sun goes down, PvP should be turned off. But just as humanity tried building a tower to reach God himself in heaven, our desire to spec into the stealth class has resulted in night vision becoming our modern day Babel. Everybody wants night vision, but the reality is that few of us can actually afford it and own it. The standard base set of dual tubes can run you anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000. It would be pretty great if someone could make an entry-level device that would push the barrier of entry into the night vision world down significantly. Enter the NVMD.
All right, so let's kind of go over this thing. This is the rifle that I currently have configured to be the quote-unquote night vision gun for this video. The way this optic is meant to be run is either as a standalone optic, a clip-on optic, or the exciting part, as a flip-to-side magnifier. This is a digital optic, so I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the actual differences of analog versus digital night vision in a little bit of a nerdy way, so bear with me. Yo, what's good? Okay, so real quick, oh, hello there. Okay, I'm trying to do a thing. We got nominated for a Gundy, and that's kind of insane, but we've been on YouTube for, I think it's a year as of maybe this month. But it's seriously just crazy that something we started doing for fun a year ago, we've got like close to 40,000 subscribers and we're getting nominated for awards. So seriously, it would mean the world to us if you guys helped us out. Go vote every single day, use your burner accounts, use your mom's account. You guys are the best. And like, even if we don't get it, like we are so thankful for you guys. All right guys, I wanna give a huge shout out to one of the main sponsors of Basecamp, Barbell Apparel. So I'm wearing a Barbell hoodie. You can't see it, but underneath this, I've got a Barbell shirt. I love their shirts because I conceal carry in them all the time and they don't get holes worn through them because of the hyper aggressive grip texture of the best handgun on the market, the FN 509. Anyways, I love their shirts. Taylor's rocking, are those the covert pants?
They are the covert pants.
And then is this a Barbell shirt as well?
It is a Barbell shirt.
Dude, how flexible are those pants?
Kind of.
That's pretty close.
For a 210? For a 210 pound man, that's remarkable. Shout out Barbell Apparel. Tell them Basecamp sent you. Thank you so much again, Barbell, for sponsoring the channel.
Please help.
I'm not gonna go into it too much, but analog night vision works in part by gathering any and all ambient light from visible and the infrared spectrums. It's then able to convert those photons into electrons, multiplying those electrons by up to 50,000 times, then slamming those electrons into a phosphor screen, either green or white, which will glow on contact with those electrons, which then focuses it onto your eyeball, resulting in a real-time view of your environment. Digital night vision, on the other hand, well, it works a lot like a camera, because in principle, it is a camera. With something like this, light is going into the front lens, but instead of going into an image intensifier tube, it hits a sensor. That sensor, to way oversimplify it, boosts the gain of the image and then displays the image on a physical screen, which you then look at. Now, while I've done a really bad job setting up a video about a digital night vision optic, I want to preface by saying I actually really like this. We are going to be focusing a lot today on distance shooting because it's hunting season, so we want to keep our round count low so that we don't scare the hoes. So we don't scare the does. So we don't scare the does. The DNT NVMD comes in at a whopping $650, which for the price you could buy either one set of dual tubes or you could buy 10 of these. Now, the NVMD is able to magnify the image up to 6 times, which sounds really good on paper. It lists on the website that when using it as a flip-to-side magnifier, it gives you 3 times magnification. This is for a reason, and we're gonna get into it. Because it's digital, the zoom is digital. What this means is we're working with a full HD image. Full HD is certainly good enough for viewing video, but the issue arises in that we are having to crop in on a full HD image. All right, so turning up the brightness of the EOTech reticle
So what's happening there is the frame rate and the refresh rate of this digital optic. Okay, guys, so we have discovered something.
Now, I want to go ahead and get this whole part out of the way. DNT did send us 3 of these. They did not send us any money. I'm free to make whatever video I want. We have to give 2 of them back, but 1 of these we do get to keep forever. Now, as an overview, this thing is actually built really, really well. It seems to be fully metal. It is solid. It weighs a lot, but the construction of this device is really, really good. In fact, all 3 of these have so far survived an entire month with me and the guys, and as far as I'm concerned, that's actually a pretty big win.
Impact! What's this?
You'll find here that the NVMD has 3 physical buttons. So you've got your power button, you've got a start-stop button for video recording, and then you have a raised button right here that can do a bunch of things. It quickly adjusts the brightness levels, it can open the menu system, and then you can turn this dial to either navigate the menu system or quickly adjust the magnification of the optic. It's pretty intuitive. At the core of the NVMD is a CMOS sensor that can see both visible and infrared light. The sensor size is 7.68 by 4.32 with a diagonal of 8.8. Here's one of the parts where I get really nerdy. If you don't know, I am by day a full-time cinematographer. Here's me winning an American Advertising Award. Here's me the next year winning 3 American Advertising Awards. I know a thing or two about cameras. I own a lot of them. Now, although the NVMD boasts a sensor that is 5 times physically smaller than something like the FX3, it's much better in the dark, and this is because of 3 things. The NVMD can only shoot in 1080p. It seems to be that with a sensor this small, 1080p is the optimum balance between resolution, but letting those pixels be big enough to soak up all the light that they possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah! Ah! He bleeds!
Additionally, I really bet that the software and processing inside of this thing play a really big role in being able to boost the image. But the last, arguably most important fact is that this sensor is capable of seeing both visible and infrared light. It does this by having a filter in front of the sensor in between the lens that flips out of the way when you enable the night vision mode. I actually found out about this by accident when I was testing this out, and in the dark I was flipping between visible light and infrared light.
If we then go from one of our night vision settings back to full color, now the full color setting is out of focus. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, so there's not 2 separate sensors in here. I guarantee what's happening is that there is a filter either in front or not in front of the sensor to block infrared light. And when you switch into an infrared setting, that filter gets moved out of the way to allow the sensor to pick up infrared light, because if it didn't do that, that would really heavily pollute the natural look of the colors in the full color spectrum mode.
And I kind of theorized that the only thing that could cause my focus to shift if I'm switching from visible to infrared is that there has to be something physically moving in between the sensor and the lens. Now, the video recording quality on the NVMD is certainly good enough. Don't worry, DNT, I'm not gonna compare this to my Red. And with 32 gigabytes of internal memory, I've recorded all of the B-roll for this entire video from this optic without filling up the internal memory. You can fit a ton of stuff on the internal memory of this device. DNT also has a pretty user-friendly app that lets you get into this thing, manage your media, free up space, and even serve as a remote viewing device. So, you know, if you're hunting and you've got your wife in the tree stand next to you, you can give her a phone or an iPad and she can watch what you're aiming at. I'd say my only gripe when it comes to the image of this camera are the rolling shutter artifacts. When a CMOS sensor captures a frame, it does it progressively so that it starts at the top, it scans the image from the top to bottom. Now, when talking about CMOS sensors, we measure the readout speed, and it's actually something that's pretty important. I would personally say that I would consider a good readout speed from a CMOS sensor to be 17 seconds or under. This Red has a global shutter, so it's instant, you don't even time it. This Canon R3 has a readout speed of about 9 milliseconds, which is blazingly fast, and unless you're really looking for it or trying to induce it, you can't even tell the rolling shutters there at all. While I don't have a way of measuring the speed exactly of this NVMD, I would estimate it's about in the 25 to 30 millisecond range to read out, potentially more. And you really notice this if you are shaking the optic back and forth or you are quickly panning from one direction to the other. Now, to be completely fair, that's not something I need to nitpick on a ton, as most of the time when you're using something like this, you are going to be posted, observing something far away, and you're not going to be swinging things around. But if you are, you might notice that there's a lot of kind of jello going around in the frame, and then once you stay still, it's going to settle back down. Now, I don't think this is the fault of DNT at all, as they are buying this sensor from a different party. There's only a few companies on the planet that actually make camera sensors, and I would really suspect they're kind of limited by the processing bandwidth that comes with this hardware. Now, diving into the menu system of the NVMD, you'll find that it's actually really well laid out. I'm a man, so I didn't look at the instruction manual once, but within 10 minutes, I had this thing figured out. If I can work this, you can too.
So let's go ahead, try the 11.5 at 100. Everyone have ears?
Yep.
Impact. Impact at 100, let's go 2. Impact. You sure?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. All right, 3. I'm gonna hold dead center because I don't feel a lot of wind.
Yeah, it's dead.
Low right. Low right.
Far
And
left.
The wind went away. Impact. Impact. Still taking this thing out isn't like difficult. I'm just not a good shooter when there's wind. Yeah, the more I use this thing, the more I kind of like it. I don't know if this is the right use case on an 11.5 because this is like super like, tactical. But for hunting coyotes at night up to 200, I think you're gonna be fine. I wanna take a quick second and give a big shout out to now one of our main channel sponsors, Invader Concepts. So they make chest holsters for Zen, because you gotta get your nicotine fix. And they also sent us out some spare magazine carriers that go on the chest rigs. If you ride around in a car with a gun on your hip, it kind of sucks. So the chest mounted holster, especially when we're out hunting, if you can't tell, we've been hunting. Hey Dalton, what do you got there?
I have the heart of an innocent deer.
No, I don't mean that. I mean your holster from Invader Concepts. That's pretty neat though.
I have the heart of a 44 Magnum, holstered by Invader Concepts chest holster. Kydex.
Zen holster right there.
Paired with a Zen holster that fits perfectly onto their own design. It's very well done.
You gonna take a bite from that?
Oh! All right, you can finish.
All right, so Invader Concepts, use code Basecamp, get 10% off site-wide. Thank you.
A couple features that I actually really like that are built into this are the built-in level, the built-in reticles, and really the PIP setting, which means if you are on 1x magnification, the PIP option, picture-in-picture, it's gonna enable a tiny little punch-in that you can position in different places on the screen. It's pretty useful. The battery life of the NVMD is stated at 6 hours, and sure enough, after me and the guys were using it with constant video recording, we were averaging about 5 to 6 hours.
Zeroing this was an absolute breeze. This is incredibly user-friendly, and you can get the hang of operating this in no time.
While it's certainly possible, there are some drawbacks worth talking about if you are going to be running this thing as a magnifier in conjunction with a pre-existing red dot on your rifle. Your main viewing image is a 1080p image, and while this looks really clear and it looks really good at 1x, when you punch into magnify, you're magnifying everything. And that includes the reticle on your red dot or your holographic sight. What happens then is the 1 or 2 MOA dot that you're used to, it suddenly becomes very blown up and pixelated, and it takes up a lot of space. That's why most of us started using the NVMD as a primary optic, because the reticles that are built into this thing, they don't balloon up in size when you cycle through the magnification ratios. They remain super clear, and again, we are actually really big fans of the reticles that are in this thing.
We have the optic mounted on the top along with our IR illuminator. So this is what we're gonna be using. We are gonna be looking at people out in the field, but again, this is completely inert because, believe it or not, Taylor, do we actually take safety seriously?
When it comes to firearms.
When it comes to firearms. Knight is wearing camo. Why?
Because we wanted to make this fair. We've talked about using this for pig hunting and coyote hunting, and if we're being honest, they blend into their environment, and we didn't want to give anything an unfair advantage.
Yeah, so we're gonna start. Knight is gonna walk out to a target that from right here is 150 yards, and then he's gonna move out to about 250 or 300 yards, and we're gonna see how visible that is. I really don't know what to expect. Honestly, at 150 yards, I would take that shot if that was a pig or a coyote. And again, it's dark enough that my IR floodlight is actually helping quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, dude, if Knight was a coyote right now, he'd be dropped. He's doing a Naruto run. Now that we're at 300 yards, oh. Okay, so it's cheating, but I can see the target because I think Knight's headlamp is reflecting in it. But I can't see Knight at all. I don't know where he is. Yeah, I've got nothing. I don't want to say yet that you can't take a 300-yard shot at night. I just think it's an issue of we don't have contrast to work with here. There he is, got him. Okay. So with the IR light, it is, I mean, you know, it's a joke, but it's night and day. So without the light, we've got nothing. With the light, he's there. So again, with no illumination, there's absolutely nothing. Like, I can't see him at all. But with illumination, clear as day, I've got movement. This is a really, really good entry into the night vision world. And I think if you are planning on hunting hogs or coyotes at 150 yards and in, and you have illumination, this is a no-brainer. Past 200 yards at night, I don't know if this is gonna work. We've tested it in the daytime. In the daytime, every single one of us made multiple hits in a row out to 300 yards.
During the day, we could all very, very, shockingly easily stretch this thing out to a little bit past 300 yards. But at nighttime, things changed. Now, to be fair, the problem with PID at night is not necessarily the fault of this optic. It's an intrinsic issue with looking at a monochromatic image.
Impact.
Impact, there it is.
Impact. Impact.
If I'm looking at a full color spectrum image of a white target against a brown hill, there's enough color contrast that I can pretty easily see the target separated from the hill. Suddenly though, if we introduce the presence of a little bit of digital grain and it's suddenly monochromatic, so whether it's all black and white, whether it's green phosphorus, whether it's white phosphorus, my eyes and brain will then really start to struggle to find the shape of the target against the hillside because that color contrast has vanished. Now, this is where illumination plays a really, really big role. For this video, I was running the SMS Laser HFXC, and we found that having illumination was absolutely necessary to PID a target anywhere past 100 yards at night. Imagine that. And again, this is not the fault of DNT, this is not a fault of the NVMD. Whether you have analog or digital night vision, blasting your target with light usually helps you see it.
I'm pretty impressed with the reticle programs. The consistent shots that I was getting, I found a really consistent hold with the Christmas tree reticle. Basically, I was putting the number 4 directly dead center, and that's when I was getting my most consistent shots back to back. Up to 3x is pretty impressive. Like, for being digital, I'm really impressed. 5 to 6, feel like you lose a lot.
In daylight, we have the added benefit of being able to use the visible light spectrum to add color contrast, and it makes identification at even 6 times much, much easier.
Hit.
Actually, so I'm just going dead on high. Held that dead on. Impact.
I honestly bet we all could have stretched out to 400 yards with this thing in the daytime, but at night, with illumination, I would really kind of call this 150 to 200 yards effective.
The real use case of this is going to be sub 200 coyote and hog hunting.
So who is this optic for? Like I said, I get to keep this. And spoiler alert, I'm gonna use it a lot because I really do like it.
So for me, if you're gonna use this in the flip to side configuration, it should function as a 1x optic where you can be running your EOTech, your holographic sight, whatever you're using, and then suddenly it turns into a night vision optic. That's pretty cool. But for me, the whole appeal of this is hog hunting, coyote hunting, and I want the magnification. So if I'm using this in a hunting application, I want the magnification, and I'm either going to not utilize my EOTech at all and just turn it off, or I'm gonna pull it off the rifle and just run this as my main optic.
But I think this does work best as a standalone optic. Now, the reason I was running this behind an inert red dot is I found that the quickest and easiest way to zero this thing is to just throw it behind a red dot, go into your zeroing settings, punch into 6x magnification, and then just co-witness this to your dot, and boom, you're immediately zeroed out to like 300-400 yards without even having to fire a single shot. That's pretty cool. Using the NVMD like this, it results in me being able to turn any of my rifles into an instant hog or pig hunting machine within 60 seconds. And I'd feel confident about shooting any of these out to 150, 200 yards at night. And for only $650. Like I said, you do absolutely need illumination if you are going to be buying this, and that, you know, that goes with anything in the night vision world. If you're going to be running night vision, you need illumination. But now with the widespread availability of budget laser aiming devices these days, you can get the NVMD and an SMS laser HFX-C for under $1,000.
I think a conclusion right now for this is that if you want to hunt 150 yards and in at nighttime, this is maybe the best thing on the market as long as you pair it with illumination.
So if you want to be able to go hog or coyote hunting and you're working with a typical engagement range of about 150 yards, this is like the cheapest and best way to confidently do that.
We got nominated for a Gundy. I don't know which one of you guys did that, but enough people nominated us for a Gundy.
Us?
Yeah, us, we are.
Wait, who?
Basecamp?
Shit. Basecamp?
Yeah.
Wait, did you say Basecamp?
So voting opens December 1st. I think whenever we post this, it'll be after December 1st. Please go vote for us for the Gundys. I think you can vote every single day, like multiple times.
Please.
Use all your burner accounts. I just think it would be the funniest thing in the world if like the 4 of us get sent to Las Vegas. Oh man, we would make fools of ourselves. For you, all for you.
We'll record it all.